Okay, so I'm going to explain how I pack my pack for an overnight hike. So I'm using the ULA Circuit, which is a 68-litre pack that has a roll top. So it only has entry from the top. There's no bottom entry or anything like that. And then it has a couple of organizational pockets on the outside. So the first thing I do when I'm packing my pack is to make sure that all of the straps and cords and everything are undone so that there's maximum space, nothing's really sort of cut off. The first thing I put in my pack is a pack liner, which makes sure that everything that's inside is waterproofed in case of rain or river crossings or anything like that. So I have the Cedar Summit ultralight one, but you can use a trash bag or any large waterproof bag. So I'll get this, put it in from the top and make sure it's getting all the way down to the bottom. Then once that's in, I want to think about filling the bottom with things that I won't need until nighttime, and then having anything I might need during the day closer to the top so it's more accessible. So the first things I put in are clothing, little bits of clothing that I won't need until nighttime. So spare undies, sleep socks, beanie, and gloves. So these will sort of fill out any little pockets down at the bottom and sort of maximize the usable space. Also, this is sort of for a hike where it might get quite cold, so maybe down to freezing or just below that. The next thing I put in is my sleeping bag, and this also has a silk liner with it. Because this is quite a bulky item, I want to make sure that when I put it in, it's sitting straight and that it's not bulging into the back panel, because that's not going to be comfortable to hike with. So when I squish it in, I'm making sure that it's sort of sitting flat horizontally. After that, I want to put other things that I won't use until nighttime. So I've got a power bank and a cord for my phone. Doesn't need to be this long, obviously. I've got my mat. So this is an inflatable mat that comes with a pump sack, which makes it easier to inflate and also extends the life of the mat. I have a pillow. Usually I would use an inflatable, which is about that sort of pack size, but because I've been having issues with my neck, I'm going to try a bigger one. And then I'll also pack a set of woolen thermals, and just sort of making sure to get them down into the cracks, so packing everything down as much as possible. I also like to pack a few toiletries, which I keep in a Ziploc bag just in case anything leaks. It won't get all over everything. I've been using this particular Ziploc for about 4 years and it hasn't given up the ghost, so it seems fairly reusable. And then I'll take the smallest book I have, which is obviously completely discretionary, but I do like to have something to read. So after all those small items, I will put my tent. And again, as a bulky item, I want to make sure that it is sitting straight and not bulging out anywhere. The reason I have the tent higher up my pack is that as soon as I get to camp, I need to set up the tent before I have anywhere sort of dry to store the rest of my gear. So that goes there. And then after that, I want to put things that I might need access to during the day, so they're right at the top and they're easy to get to. So I've got a down jacket, which I might need, if I'm stopping and it gets quite cold during the hike. So I just shove that down, and then that is everything that will go inside the pack liner, everything that gets waterproofed. And then I'm going to seal up the liner and roll it down. If you're using a bin bag, you're going to do something similar, which is to twist the top of it and then sort of roll it down, making sure that there's not a neck sticking up for water to gather into. So on top of that, I'm going to put my food bag. So I've got a 13-litre dry sack, and I'm using a dry sack so that if anything leaks inside, it's not going to get everywhere. Also not keeping it inside the pack liner for the same reason, so that nothing's going to get covered in oil or whatever. Inside the food bag, I will keep all my food. I will also keep an old plastic screw-up container, which I'll use as a bin. My titanium pot, and in here I will also keep, so usually a 100-gram thing of fuel. I keep a lighter, and then my stove, so just a little screw top stove. And I keep that rolled up in a cloth so that it's not sort of jangling around, but also so that I can use the cloth to clean my pot after I've used it. Also in my food bag, I keep a folding knife, a spoon, and then, so most of the food will be dehydrated or things like that, but I might have some little seasonings which are in tiny plastic containers so they don't take up much space, but you just want to make sure that everything seals really well. So I do up my food bag, and then that's going to be the last thing that goes in the main body of the pack. So once that's all in, you want to do up the main body. So that depends on the kind of pack you have. Mine's a roll top. If you've got a pack with like a drawstring and brain, that's how it'll go. Cool. So once I finish with the main compartment, I've got external compartments that I fill mostly with things that I will need access to during the day. So a lot of packs will come with a stretchy mesh front pocket, and in there I will put quick access things. So my emergency beacon and my first aid kit are the first things I put in. I also make sure to tell the people I'm hiking with where those are, so that if anything happens, they know how to access them. And I will put rain gear. So I have a rain jacket and a pair of rain pants. So I find these super useful, not only for rain, but also if it's really cold or windy or buggy. They provide protection from all of those things. And then on top of that, I have a spade and bathroom kit. So I keep these on top because you want to be able to get to it quickly. And then I have some cord at the front, and I will usually put my sandals there because they will provide a bit of protection to the mesh for any sort of sharp scrub or anything like that. Now with the side pockets, so I have two large side pockets on this pack, and that's where I like to keep my water and also anything sort of long that doesn't fit inside the pack conveniently. So my tent poles will go in the side pocket, and in that side I will also keep a Nalgene. With this pack, it's very easy to grab the bottles while you're hiking, but that is usually not the case, so some people do prefer to use a water bladder that goes inside the pack. In the other side, I put, this is a Sinoc bladder, which carries 2 litres of water, and then that can screw onto a water filter, so it just makes it really easy to filter water that you grab from streams or wherever. And it also means that I have 3 litres carrying capacity, which is good for if you're on a pretty dry trail. So bladder's going on the other side, and then with my water filter I keep it inside a Ziploc, because if it gets under freezing, the filter can freeze and then break. So if it's going to be cold overnight, I have to keep it inside my sleeping bag, but I don't want to get my sleeping bag wet, so I keep it in the Ziploc. I also, to save on plastic, whenever I buy food that comes in a Ziploc bag, I will save it and use it for hiking purposes. Now, the last compartment on this pack are the hip belt pockets. So these are the things that you are using multiple times during the day and you want to be able to grab without taking your pack off. So the first thing I keep is some lip balm. So purple ointment is great for lips and also for chafing or anything like that. And then Ventolin in case I need that. I also like to keep my head torch in my hip pocket. You don't need it quite that accessible, but if you have like a lid on your pack or something where you can just know where your head torch is and be able to grab it as soon as it gets dark, that's a really good idea. Then in the other side, I'll usually put my phone, my massage ball. Again, you don't need it that accessible, but it fits well. And then I'll put some snacks so that I can have something to eat without having to stop and take my pack off. So that's everything I put in my pack for an overnight hike. It usually comes up to about 12 or 13 litres, sorry, 12 or 13 kilos, which I find is fairly easy to hike with as long as the pack fits well. Yeah, that's all I pack.